was 5,000 foot deep below the seabed in the Gulf of Mexico and extended 18,000 foot into the rock. On the night of April 20th, 2010, a surge of natural gas blasted through the concrete core recently installed by contractor Halliburton in order to seal the well for future use. The core was probably too weak to withstand the pressure because the concrete mixture contained nitrogen gas to accelerate the curing. Once the core was released, the gas traveled up into the platform where it ignited, killing 11 people, 11 workers, and injuring 17. The rig capsized the morning of April 22nd, and oil began to discharge into the Gulf waters, estimated by BP at 10,000 barrels a day, but by the government at 60,000 barrels a day. The petroleum that had leaked from the well before it was sealed formed a slick extending over 57,000 square miles on the Gulf of Mexico. 1.8 million gallons of dispersants were applied on the open water. As oil began to contaminate the beaches in May, it had to be manually removed. By June, over 1,100 miles of the shoreline in Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida were polluted. Economic fallout affected many industries upon which residents depended. The Gulf was closed to fishing due to the fears of contamination. A moratorium on offshore drilling left an estimated 8,000 to 12,000 unemployed. The tourism trade came to a standstill. The National Commission on BP spill, formed in May 2010 by President Obama, attributed the spill to lack of oversight by the government and time-saving measures on the part of BP and their partners. A study published 10 years after the disaster found that fish in the Gulf of Mexico continued to show evidence of contamination by polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. Even though billions of dollars in payments were ordered to be paid by the offending parties, the sea life continues to suffer. A 2013 study of dolphins found that half were extremely sick. Many suffered from lung and adrenal disorders that are known to be linked to oil exposure. 14,000 whales and dolphins were found stranded, represented only a small percentage of the animals. This was the largest mortality event to ever occur in the Gulf of Mexico. Up to 800,000 birds were thought to have died. Some 17,000 turtles have been found dead. Another 65,000 imperiled turtles died during 2010. This affected breeding populations in other parts of the world. Thus, the impacts of this disaster are global. Impacts on smaller species were more difficult to determine. Important fish species, including tuna, likely developed heart defects and exposures to PHAs from the oil. Areas of the seabed are essentially dead zones. Tests also determined that the oil and dispersants were fatal to rotifers, microorganisms critical to the Gulf food web. It was hoped that extensive revisions to offshore drilling regulations prompted by the spill issued in April 2016 would mitigate the likelihood of future disasters. An article on May the 8th, 2023 in the New York Times states, it will take over $30 billion to continue to clean up abandoned oil wells in the Gulf of Mexico. Decades of drilling have left behind more than 14,000 old, unplugged wells. 90% are owned by BP, Shell, Chevron, and Exxon. Under federal law, they are responsible for the cleanup, even if they have since sold the wells. These companies have been making record profits, but it is doubtful that any action will be taken without legal recourse. So that sort of sets the scene for what I was experiencing back in 2010. And after hearing this day after day, I felt it in my body. I felt physically ill. I felt the results of the oil leaking into the waters and how it was contaminating everything. So one morning I got up and something just had to give, and it all bubbled to the surface. And I wrote this series of poems, which I'd like to read to you now. The first one is called Human. What is it that makes us human? A bigger brain, walking upright, language, Or is it the ability to care for each other, for beauty, for the earth? Bleeding. There is a wound in her breast, lifeblood flowing, gushing, fouling all it touches, the holy center of life. Life in its profusion, touched by sin, but innocent of sin, touched and destroyed. How can we help? Can our collective prayers stop the flow of poison? Is it the poison in us that we have come to this? If we purify ourselves, will we purify the earth? Will evil disappear and only beauty remain? Possibilities. God said, "Let there be light." And with a big bang, the formless became us. All possibilities exist in the ocean of boundless love. Birdsong. All of nature supporting itself except humans, destroying each other, destroying our planet. Coral reef. Have you ever seen a coral reef? Home for so much life, profusion of color, vibrant, iridescent, moving, anemones, fish, mollusks, providing nourishment and shelter for each other. God's perfect society, peaceful, covered in oil, dead. Big blue marble. Look at the earth from space. You can't see any countries. You can't see any people, mostly blue oceans, creating and supporting life, abundant life. Green trees, brown earth, white clouds, the circle of life, all one. Someone out there, someone smart enough to fix our problems, save our planet, lead us to peace, make decisions so no one is in want, so no one is motivated by greed, so greed isn't God anymore. The water. Sunlight sparkles, moonlight dapples. We are the water. 98% gives life and flows through us. It is holy water. Will it matter? Going to the mall, lunch with friends, good wine, the perfect dress, or a gift for someone you love, hugs and kisses, their favorite dinner, pets to the vets, homework done, the house is clean. Technology. We've seen far, far galaxies, been to the moon, created magic, all knowledge at our fingertips via the internet, powers of good and evil. Plants. How can we water our plants when there's only acid rain? What can we feed our children when nothing grows? How can we nourish our spirit when there's no beauty? Maybe the lessons Jesus taught do mean something after all. Love one another, forgive everything, share what you have. Miracles are possible. They come from you. God has no hands but yours. Create love, create beauty, create life. Find a way. Hubble. I've seen the Cat's Eye Nebula, the great clouds of the universe. Thank you, Dr. Hubble. Thank you, NASA. I've seen how tiny Earth is compared to the other planets in our solar system, how infinitesimal our place is in space. Does it make me feel insignificant? No, it makes me feel grateful. It makes me think that God isn't out there. God is in here. Landscape. From my little corner of America, I have a view of the political landscape, and it isn't good. What was once a beautiful idea is fraught with weeds. They say we are a Christian nation. That means we have a right to guns, to defend, no, to challenge those with whom we do not agree. Free thought, you better keep it to yourself. I want to practice what I thought Jesus taught. He would care about everyone, no matter how lowly or disadvantaged or sick. He would want a world where we help each other, a world in which we don't need more money to prove our worth. Black and yellow, red and white, they are precious in his sight. There's a few other poems that were written after this. Very soon after this, there was a wine walk in Titusville. And when we got there, all the fundamentalists were out on the corner waving signs and telling us how evil we were going to a wine walk. So, oh wait, that's one, this book, I have another one here. Let me get the wine walk. Preachers screaming in the streets, the wicked are going to hell. Repent, repent. But it is a beautiful evening. There is music, there is wine. Jesus made a lot of friends with that first miracle. He only wanted us to love one another. Repent. Okay, this is, the other poems. Yeah. Here, let me help you. We can fix your pain, strengthen your bones, cure what ails you. Only, in the very fine print, it says, it may, no, more likely it will, destroy your kidneys, destroy your liver, can cause death. But oh well, we're big pharma. We can do what we want. Oh yes, and there's another thing. There's big oil. We can solve all your energy needs. Never mind that we pollute the atmosphere, destroy the land, and now destroy the oceans. But oh well, we're big oil. We can do what we want. There's so much money in it. And I have just a few. This is one on the Tao. I cannot tell you what the Tao is. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Come sit by me in silence. And I would like to close the poems with a Buddhist meditation. And it's a three-part meditation. The first part is, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. The second part is the hard part, because you have to do this for someone you don't like. It's really hard, and I will try. And not to mention names, but I think we need a name, and you can put your own if you want, but mine says, may Ron DeSantis be filled with loving kindness. May he be well. May he be peaceful and at ease. May he be happy. And the third part, may all peoples be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. Om. So, I have some closing words here. And these are from Margaret Atwood in her book, The Testaments. The floods, the fires, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the droughts, the water shortages, the earthquakes. Why did I think it would be nonetheless business as usual? Because we've been hearing these things for so long, I suppose. You don't believe the sky is falling until a chunk of it falls on you.